Vice President Jack Warner introduce Linda. Jack.
Thank you. As long as I've been here with the club, we've been honored to have a show business personality here, Earl, who was a regular fixture on shows like The Streets of San Francisco. And lo and behold, when I was researching this new project, I found out we have somebody with some film credits too, including the classic B movie, Dirty Rotten Green Tomatoes. There's an actress with her name. I knew it wasn't her. So anyway, I got this assignment very quickly, and so I started to research chloramine and the chemical name and so on. But what really caught my eye is it is used to synthesize hydrazine. And those of you who've been around the aerospace industry, hydrazine is rocket fuel. Very explosive, very toxic, very corrosive, a very unpleasant chemical, okay? So I'm going to let Linda expand on that, but I just want to warn you in the beginning that you're dealing with a very unpleasant substance. Linda?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Barbara, for giving me this opportunity to talk to everyone. I'd like to let you know that I do have some display items on the table, and the documents that I have, I only brought one of each, and they're there to substantiate the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So if you are looking at one, I appreciate that, but I'd also appreciate it if you return it to the table when you're finished. If you'd like a copy of anything, there's a clipboard there. You can leave your name and email or address and the title of the document or the subject that you would like to know more about, and I'll make sure I get it to you. There are also some help documentation pages there. If you are having health problems, please fill out one of those and either give it to me today or mail it back to me, even if it's just minor itchy skin after taking a shower, because the powers that be want numbers of people. And if I just say that I've talked to you, you know, that doesn't do it for them. They need to have numbers. And so that document will help us when we talk to legislators. We do keep all of your information completely confidential. So whatever you tell us won't go any farther, except there's another person, another number that is being bothered by chloramine. And after that, I am Linda Corvan. I'm Vice President of Citizens Concerned About Chloramine. And I will give you an overview of what we've been through the last several years. Please hold on to your questions, and I would like to try to answer all of the questions afterwards if I don't answer them in my presentation today. So I'm going to start out. What is chloramine? Chloramine is the mixture of ammonia and chlorine at a ratio of about 5 chlorine molecules to 1 ammonia molecule. In a water solution, it's present in 3 species: monochloramine, dichloramine, and trichloramine. The ammonia is added to the chlorine after the chlorine kills most of the microbes in the water. Then the chloramine stops that transition to the byproducts that supposedly are harmful. So chloramine is used as what they call a secondary or a residual disinfectant. So why do we have it? Back in the 70s, the EPA found that chlorine combines with organic matter in the water, and it forms a byproduct. And a byproduct is just a chemical that does not do any disinfecting. These byproducts were linked to a slight increase in bladder cancer. Now they used, these were 2 towns side by side that they studied, and the water that was being used in the control city used chloramine as a disinfectant. Now people in that town were dying from a higher incidence of respiratory problems, but that wasn't followed up on. They were only looking for cancer, and the higher bladder cancer occurred in the chlorinated water. So the EPA is now protecting us from those byproducts of chlorine by allowing water agencies to choose from a list of disinfectants which lower those byproducts. The cheapest and easiest to use is chloramine. Chloramine also stays in the water longer than chlorine, thus removing the need to maintain booster stations to refresh chlorine as it dissipates in the pipes. So what does it do? Okay, to pipes, Professor Mark Edwards of the University of Virginia discovered that chloramine leaches lead from lead pipes and copper pipes, and it leaches plasticizers from plastic pipes. Those all go into the water that we drink. Part of the display over there shows copper pipe that has been exposed to chloraminated water. When different metal pipe parts are combined, such as in faucets, chloramine will produce a weak electric current called a galvanic effect, and that's what causes the pinholes in the pipes, which leak water. When this happens behind walls, mold can grow, and it can become so pervasive that the whole house must be destroyed. Most insurance companies exclude mold damage from their contracts. To fish, amphibians, and invertebrates. When many juvenile salmon were found dead in Canadian rivers, the Canadian EPA studied chloramine discharges into those rivers from water pipe leaks and wastewater plant discharges. Because of the small amount of chloramine needed to kill these fish and the aquatic life which they eat, the report issued by the Canadian EPA in 2000 found chloramine to be a toxic substance. However, even Canadian water agencies are still converting to chloramine. Several spills of chloraminated water have killed fish in rivers in Virginia, Florida, Marin, Berkeley, and Polhemus Creek down in the peninsula.